Hello, good evening, and welcome to my little show tonight. I am so grateful that you can join me here on this platform. Tonight, we have a topic that we're going to be talking about that sometimes a lot of people are very uncomfortable with talking about. It's the topic of unforgiveness. My name is Deborah Wright, and I am just going to share my heart with you tonight. If you have any questions, you can put it in the comment box below. I'd be happy to answer the ones that I can at the time, and then we can always have a little chat. So we're going to talk about, like I said, on unforgiveness. And a lot of us hold unforgiveness in our hearts because we have been wronged, we have been hurt, we hold it, we hold resentment, we hold bitterness, and we can't seem to let it go. So for me, I'll just tell you a little bit about me and what I had to deal with in just a little nutshell. 6 years ago, almost 7 years ago, I was divorced. After 25 years of marriage, my marriage came to an end. Was it an easy situation? Absolutely not. I had, just like anyone that has gone through a divorce, I had bitterness, I had resentment, I was angry, because I felt a lot of things weren't fair. But did I see it coming? Yes, I did for many years. But at the same time, when it happened, it was, it's still a really hard thing to deal with, right? So I had to go through the pain, and I had to go through the torment in my mind because, at that point you're having talks with yourself, was I good enough? What could I have done better? All these different emotions go through you. And then the anger happens, and then the resentment happens. And then you sit there and you're so mad, and it keeps building up inside of you. And I had to deal with unforgiveness because it was eating me alive. I had to come to the point where I say, I'm going to let this go. It wasn't easy, but it's something that I had to do. And I'm sure most of you that are on here, listening to me right now, you've all had situations in your life where you've had someone hurt you, or you've had someone do something to you that was really painful. I know we've all been there. I'm not the only one. And it doesn't mean that, I haven't hurt people too. I have, because as a human being, we all hurt one another in some form or the other. Some things we can let go, and some things it's very hard for us to let go of. So that's why, today we're just going to talk about it. Let's talk about it. Do you have you been hurt? How have you been hurt? Have you gone through something that you thought you would never get over? This person hurt me so bad that I could never get over it, right? So I'll talk a little bit first. I'll tell you a little bit about um, what forgiveness is not. A lot of people think that, if I forgive somebody, that means I'm condoning what they've done. No, I'm just gonna read something for you. It says, according to the psychologist's definition of forgiveness, as a conscious, deliberate decision to release feelings of vengeance to or resentment towards a person or group of people who have harmed you. So it's making a conscious effort and a decision to let it go. Is it easy? No, it's not something that's very easy because it could be something that has hurt you so much to the core that you're not able to just let it go, right? And a lot of people are afraid to forgive because they say that, well, do I have to reconcile with the person that's wronged me? No, you don't. In some situations, yes, you can, but that's your choice, right? And in some situations, you cannot, because sometimes that person may have already died, or they may have gone away and you can't talk to them, but you still have to let it go. You're not reconciling with anybody. Some people think that, well, you're living in denial about the actions of the person that has hurt you, and you're pretending it did not occur. No, that is not what forgiveness is. Forgiveness is not being in denial, right? Or some people would say, well, if I forgive them, I'm allowing the person to repeat the same behavior. No, you're not, right? That person will have consequences for their behavior, and then we talk about having the pain magically go away. Your pain takes sometimes a long time to heal, and sometimes it doesn't go away completely, right? But, now that we know what forgiveness is not, it is not those things I just said. Forgiveness is actually a process that can bring you to freedom from pain of the past, right? It if you if you hold on to that, one of the things that a lot of people don't realize is that when you hold on to unforgiveness, it only hurts you. The other person may have moved on and did not even realize that they were hurting you, you know? And so you've got to let it go. Let it go, not for them, let it go for you, you know? So I've had many things happen to me in the past, and I had to let it go. I had to learn to let it go. I had to go through the same process, right? People are afraid to forgive. A lot of people are afraid to forgive because they're afraid that that person is gonna hurt them again. And it's a choice that we have to make in order to forgive someone for the things that they have done to us. I know of people that um, maybe it's their parents. A lot of people, their parents have hurt them so badly, and they can't let it go. They grow up and they leave home and they get married and they have children, but the pain that they suffered as a child at the hands of their parents, they have not been able to let that go, and that has just kept them in bondage. We don't want to stay in bondage. We want to be free. We want to be set free from the pain that we're experiencing. We don't want to continue, because the thing is, what you don't realize is that if you live with unforgiveness in your heart, you actually are hurting your body. You're not just, eating up inside and being angry and resentful, but unforgiveness can actually cause you a lot of health challenges, right? You can suffer with high blood pressure. You can suffer with anxiety. You can suffer with stomach problems, a lot of disorders, even sometimes diabetes, because all these things, it bothers your body, it bothers your mind, it causes you undue stress, right? Why do I want to walk around with stress? When I was going through my divorce, it's not something I talk about all the time because, it's like it's past, it's gone, I've come to terms with it. But what I am sharing here today is to let you know that if you went through something like that, there is hope. You don't have to stay in the same place. When I was going through that process, I took a trip, and I left my home for a year and some, because I just needed to find myself. What I had to do is I had to sit down and I had to do introspection. Look inside of myself and say, okay, Deb, this is what happened. This is where you were. This is what was happening in your life. And okay, so now you're here. What do you do? I sat by myself. I was alone. I had never been alone in my whole life. I grew up with my parents and my siblings. I had a great home life. And I left. I traveled overseas. I went to school. I stayed with my grandparents. Then, right after school, I got married at 21 years old. And here I am. Now I'm building a family. I'm living. I'm married. And it's not going the way it's supposed to go. And then after 25 years, we call it quits. Man, that's heavy. You deal with all of this, and then I said to myself, I can't hold on to the things that I'm holding on to. I have to learn to let it go, and I have to forgive myself. A lot of times we don't forgive ourselves. I have to forgive myself for holding on to all the anxiety, the animosity and everything. I had to forgive me, right? Because it starts with me. I had to learn to forgive myself. And then, I was able to deal with my situations, but I was alone. Sometimes when you're dealing with issues, you need to block out the noise of everybody else around you, and you sit down and you go through your process. So I had many nights where by myself, like I said, I never lived by myself at all. And I had to be in this place. Trust me, I was so scared some nights. I made sure that where I lived, it was gated and I was safe. I knew it was safe, but trust me, many nights I would stay up and I'd be so worried because I'm by myself. But it was the right time. God put me in a place where I had to now sit down, get with myself. And I had to start searching my life and searching my heart and knowing that the things that I had gone through, I can either choose to sit down and to wallow, or I could choose to forgive and to let it go. Was that process easy? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because sometimes you thought, oh my God, this was so unfair. I did so and so and so, and well, they didn't appreciate that. And the blame game in your head and all of that. But the truth of the matter is, you need to let go of the pain, because one of the things that I know is that the person that have wronged you, they may have walked away and don't even remember anything about it. All the while you are sitting down stewing about what has gone on before. They're fine. They don't even remember. And you are here and you're taking it into yourself and you're becoming resentful and you're becoming so angry. Somebody comes to talk to you, you're blowing up at them, you can't function. What's that for? You're hurting yourself. The Bible talks about in Ephesians 4 and 32, it says, be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other just as Christ, God forgave you. And then in Matthew 6 and 14, it says, for if you forgive other people when they sin against you, your heavenly Father in heaven will also forgive you. So you need to let go of the pain. You need to do that in order to move on. In order to have freedom in your life, you need to let go of the pain, let go of the anger, right? Don't hold on to it. Forgiveness, as I said, is not for the other person. Forgiveness is for you. What are you walking through today? What are you walking through right now that is keeping you in bondage, keeping your mind in bondage, right? If you keep holding on to that pain, you give the person that wronged you power. Think about that. They keep the power. But when you let it go, you are taking away that power from them. Forgiveness is for you. It is for you to be free. There is freedom in forgiveness. Let go of the anger. So you might say, I don't know how to do it. There are lots of things that I can share with you that you can, you want to let go of it, but you don't know how to. There's a process. It is a process. I went through the process. I remember when I came back here to Canada, I went through a program with a dear woman that I really appreciate and love. And she spoke with me and she told me that you need to let it go. And we went through that process and I did. And it did a lot of wonders for me. You see, I had already been working on my mind and getting clear and on letting go some of the things that I had. But when I got freed of the pain that I carried in my heart, I am now the person that I am today. That I don't hold on to stuff. I get hurt. It doesn't, every day that we live, something happens to hurt us or whatever. It's not that I don't get hurt. I've had friends hurt me, and it's like, you don't want to talk to them anymore, but it doesn't make any sense, right? Let it go. and move on. Yes, even today things hurt me, but I don't hold on to it like I did before because I realize that if I hold on to it, that person doesn't even remember that they did something to me, or they don't even know that I'm holding on to it, and I'm stewing and I'm upset, and they're happy carrying on with their lives. So today, remember that there is freedom in forgiveness. And forgiveness is not for the other person. It is absolutely for you. I want you to think about that. If you have any questions about unforgiveness, if you are walking through a road right now of unforgiveness and you're hurting and you don't know what to do, enter send me an email, send me a direct message, and we can have a conversation, because you don't have to walk in unforgiveness anymore. You don't have to stay there. You want to let it go. You want to be free. You want to be able to move on with your life. It is imperative to let go of the hurt and the pain that is caused by unforgiveness. Remember, it can hurt you. It can hurt you physically. Okay? So I would like for you today to just let it go. If you are walking through that right now, just send me a direct message inbox, and I will be happy to speak with you. This is Deborah Wright, and I thank you so much for just tuning in today. God bless you and have a wonderful evening. I'll see you tomorrow, and we'll continue this conversation. Stay blessed.